1. Husband accused me of having sex with adult son. My 53 years old husband, 56 years old accused me of having sex with my 30 years old son. We have been married for 15 years. My son is his stepson, and yes, you did the math right, my husband came into our lives when my son was a teenager. We have been an amazing blended family for many years. There are other, now adult, children and grandchildren in our lives. All of these children now have their own lives, and we are fortunate enough to see them, spend time with them, several times a year. My husband does have many insecurities, and as a couple we have managed to navigate them together. But this is an overwhelming accusation. There are no grounds for this. I have never cheated on him. He has accused me of infidelity many times over the years, and I have always validated his worries, reassured him, but this may be a deal breaker. How could he think of me this way? Our children and family are incredibly important to me. I will not sacrifice a healthy relationship with my son to satisfy his ridiculous insecurities. I am at a loss here. Much of my retirement year plans are tied to this relationship. I absolutely would never tell my family or friends about this accusation because it is so ridiculous, and I do not want to embarrass him or expose this sad side of my husband. This is tearing me up inside. For reference, there was one particular incident that led to this accusation, and as I type this I realize how completely ludicrous this is. My son and I went to the store together. The rest of the family was at the house. When we returned, I sat on the couch and our family cat got on my lap and immediately started getting really close to my mouth, doing that weird face-to-face close thing that cats do. My husband later said he was certain the cat had smelled sex on my face and accused me of oral sex with my son while we were out. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And now ever private interaction I have with my son is in question. Fuck. This sounds so ridiculous as I type it. If I leave, my financial and retirement future is gonna be much different than I had been planning. I need some advice. Should I leave? How much more of this should I put up with? I think I, 16, was raped by my boyfriend, 17, almost 18. This is a burner account. So background story, I love my boyfriend very much. He is the sweetest boyfriend I think I've had since I started dating. We have sleepovers routinely, and I'm always excited to spend time with him. Not once did he ever make me feel unsafe until now. I noticed since we started limiting our sleepovers due to Corona, he's become very touchy and sexual. I mean, we cuddle each other, kiss, etc. But he has accidentally touched me in places I don't feel comfortable. I've made it clear to him concerning how I feel, and he says sure, but ends up doing it again. I've become used to it, so I don't really mind anymore. The worst he has done was to slap my ass in front of my parents. Yesterday, we had another sleepover and argued. I told him how I felt, and placed an ultimatum that if he doesn't stop, we are over. I go to sleep and even apologized to ease the tension in the room. Fast forward to morning, I wake up in extreme pain and being unable to walk. As I try to get up from my bed, I see blood on my sheets. I knew for sure it wasn't my period, because my cycle was over just last week. My panties are torn and I'm in so much confusion. I turn to look at my BF and I see that his pants are on the floor and knocked out asleep. Immediately I start crying, because I think I've just been raped. I don't want to fall to conclusions, but IDK who else it could have been. Currently as I write this, he's in my home. Any advice? I don't want to jump and ask him, hey, did you rape me? Up front. My husband, 39M, wants suddenly a baby, but I, 38F, feel too old for one. I feel that I wasted all of my life with a man that never wanted the same as me in life. I don't know what to do. My husband and I have been married for 15 years. We have been together since we were very young. He was 19 and I was 18, and these years I always expressed my desire of starting a family, but every time I got older I forgot about it. The first time I was 25, I asked him to have a baby and he told me we were too young and that he wasn't ready. We had good jobs and an apartment. I waited until I turned 28 to 29 and he told me the same, that he wasn't ready and maybe in some years because the apartment was small for 3 people. We moved to our current house when I was 30 years old, that has 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a big kitchen, a big living room. Very big. In that time I insinuated that maybe it was a perfect place to raise a child, but he said that we just moved and that we had to organize everything and that maybe he would change his job to be paid more. My husband changed his job place months later and his salary increased. Even like this, he still had to think about being a dad. I gave up about the baby topic and didn't bring it in any conversation until I was around 34 years old, when one of our friends, an ex-coworker, younger than us, she was 28 in that time, had a baby. She and her BF invited us to a dinner and the baby topic came out of the blue when she asked me in front of everyone if I was thinking about having one, and I had to reply that I didn't want to. My husband looked at me surprised and asked me how come I changed my mind radically. I didn't reply. I never understood his reaction when he was always pushing away the idea of having children. Years later, my husband showed me a pic of a baby while I was chilling in the living room and said he was starting to like the idea of having one. I didn't take it seriously, but she started the next months being so nice with our friends' children and talking about baby stuff. He looked so happy and one night he suggested to stop using the pill and go for one, but my mind changed. I told him I was old, that I didn't want one anymore and that my time was over. He felt disappointed. I thought he wouldn't ask for it, but this week he asked me if I feel resentful towards him for having refused so many years to have a baby with me. I said I didn't care anymore, that I was already too old. But at the same time I feel that if I wasn't married him I would have been happier. I would have been happier with a man who wasn't so focused on himself. These thoughts are making me want to divorce him, but I don't want to throw all of these years to the trash. I don't know if I should have the baby and recover the lost years or divorce and remake my life on my own. I am so confused.